Hey, this is Bruce Pruiett doing my project for Kinesiology 5005. This is my video presentation. Um, my client question is, what are some considerations related to protein that should be taken into account when trying to switch from a meat-eating diet to a vegetarian diet? So this guy here is my client Sully. He's a male monster, and he is trying to get suggestions on what he should be considering when trying to switch to a vegetarian diet in terms of his protein intake and concerns about his protein intake. Um, According to Parker and Videvalu, a vegetarian diet consists of the elimination of meat, poultry, and fish, but he can consume eggs and dairy. So hopefully he's aware of some of the limitations that he has when consuming protein. Overall, protein intake can meet or exceed the protein intake of omnivorous diets or meat-eating diets, according to Vanderlei and Campbell, 2006. So within a vegetarian diet, the American Dietetic Association and Dietitians of Canada, 2003, lists protein sources as soybeans, soy milk, tofu, tempeh, black beans, lentils, kidney beans, chickpeas, fortified cereals, quinoa, eggs, and milk. So see that these are some of the suggested protein-dense sources of food that one can eat on a vegetarian diet. Now, since I've been working with Sully, he's been following the precision nutrition guidelines for protein intake. According to Berardi and colleagues, 2016, this consists of 1 palm of protein-dense food. Key here is knowing that it's protein-dense food, so that could be plant protein or animal protein. In this case, he'd be switching from animal protein to plant protein, and it's suggested that he gets between 6 to 8 servings or palm sizes of protein per day. So given the protein sources we listed earlier, one of the concerns that you can have protein sources of plants is there some deficiencies they might have compared to animal proteins. One of which, according to the ADA and Dietitians of Canada, 2003, some protein sources such as cereals and legumes can be low in lysine, which is an essential amino acid, which is basically a building block of protein that we don't produce in our body, so we need to get from food products. The way to kind of combat this deficit of lysine is to add more bean and soy products to ensure adequate intake of lysine. In addition to lysine, there are several micronutrients that we have to consider when we're taking in plant-based protein, because there are some differences in plant-based protein than there are as compared to animal-based protein. One of which is iron. So iron is an important micronutrient for delivery of oxygen to muscles, and it's been shown, according to Vanderlei and Campbell, 2006, that vegetarian diets can contain just as much iron as non-vegetarian diets. However, in plants, iron is not as easily absorbed when compared to animal protein. Basically what this means is that you can eat just as much plant-based protein compared to animal-based protein, according to suggestions by Berardi and colleagues. However, Vanderlei and Campbell explain that your body will just simply absorb less iron from those protein sources, and the only way to combat that is either to increase your iron intake by eating more iron-based foods, or by finding ways to increase the absorption. One way to increase iron intake is by eating leafy greens like spinach. Spinach contains a lot of iron, which will help kind of meet those needs for iron absorption. In addition to eating leafy greens, you can add fresh fruits to increase vitamin C absorption, according to Vanderlei and Campbell, 2006. Next, we want to be concerned about zinc. Zinc is an important mineral that is involved in immune function and protein synthesis. So basically, it keeps us from getting sick and also helps build muscle, which we attempt to do through resistance training and exercise. One of the aspects of zinc that is important to consider is that according to Vanderlei and Campbell, 2006, vegetarian diets are lower in zinc compared to animal products or eating animal products because zinc is really only found mostly in animal products, meats, and dairy products. Basically, you would soak, the beans, grains, and seeds in water for a prolonged period of time before you prepare them so that you can have that enhanced zinc absorption. Lastly, I want to talk about calcium. Calcium is also found in many of the same plant and protein products that iron and zinc are found, and calcium is necessary to maintain bone structure and increase muscle strength and muscle stimulation. And that's according to the ADA and Dietitians of Canada 2003. According to these same authors, calcium is present in plants like bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, kale, okra, collard greens, and also soy products and dairy products. So basically, it's suggested that you add these different plant products to your diet to ensure that your calcium intake remains at levels that they were at when you were consuming animal products. Given these calcium food products, some calcium foods have lower absorption, such as spinach, beet greens, and Swiss chard, which are all really commonly used foods. And if you're not careful using those to replace calcium, you may not be getting adequate amounts of calcium in your diet. Now, the reason it's important to maintain your iron, zinc, and calcium levels in your body is that when you do participate in any type of resistance training or exercise, your body needs these different micronutrients in addition to protein for your body to function properly. So without paying attention to these different products, different micronutrients, your body can have some negative effects. When I was participating in a study on myself as a vegetarian, these things weren't taken into account, and as a result, I saw kind of negative body composition results, as well as inadequacies in my overall micronutrient and macronutrient intake. So, based on the information that I've given you solely, what I would suggest is to include the previously mentioned foods within the scope of the diet that is suggested by Pruiett and colleagues, which includes one palm size of protein dense food in the amount of 6 to 8 servings per day, and to ensure that there's a variety in the types of plant-based food sources that you're eating within that diet, so that you can ensure that you're meeting the proper requirements for protein, zinc, iron, and calcium, which is going to help you maintain the levels of training that you were previously when you were on a animal-based protein diet.